Okay, this is part 2 of the body skeleton, the axial skeleton, and I'm going to talk about the vertebrae. So the first vertebrae, which is actually the first curvature, is the cervical vertebrae, and there's 7 of them, and it starts with the atlas there. Then we have the axis, and then it moves on to 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The next curvature is the 12 thoracic vertebrae, and that starts from here down, all the blue there. And then when we get to the last one, it's actually near the false ribs, the second pair of false ribs. And then we move on to the lumbar area. The lumbar thoracic, or the lumbar area, has 5 vertebrae, and it goes on, and that's the third curvature. The fourth curvature is the sacral area, which has, the sacral area is made of 5 bones that are fused together naturally. And then the final thing down here, this is our coccyx, this is our tailbone. Going back up here to the cervical area, the reason the atlas C1 and the axis C2, they don't have an they don't have a disc. They don't have a disc, an intervertebral disc that goes in between them like the rest of the vertebrae have. That's something unique about it, and the reason why is because it allows your head to nod, to do this, to make the yes motion. Alright, so that's the vertebral column. Now let's talk about the thoracic vertebrae. There is the spinosis process, which is this right here, and then we have, which is this thing that sticks out. Then you have the transverse process, which is right under here. Let's see. Actually, I think, let me see if I can show a little bit closer so I can get this correct. So we have the spinosis process, which is this thing that sticks out, this thing where the blue is. And then you have the transverse processes, which is the actual knob, and that would be on the inside here, the inside, that transverses. What passes through the foramen, the intervertebral foramen, has spinal verbs that pass through there, and that would be on the inside here, and can't really see here. Let's see. Can't really get a good view, but it would be an area where like a little hole like that, and that's where the spinal nerves would pass through. The body, or the centrum, is actually, if I were to do a horizontal cut, and you can see, looking down, you can see the inside of one of these vertebrae. Can't do that with this skeleton here. And the position of the intervertebral discs is between the vertebrae. So between each of these vertebrae is where the discs would be. Now we're going to flip the skeleton over and look at the front part of the skeleton. So we're going to look at the pectoral girdle here. Let's go to his skull there. Okay, so we're going to start with the sternum. So the manubrium is located, the top part of the sternum here. This would be this piece right here would be the manubrium. Then this is the body. Then we have the xiphoid process here, and the jugular notch is this little indented area up here on the top. The ribs This would be the vertebrosternal ribs, or the true ribs, and the false ribs actually start here and they go down to these two floating ribs there. The head and the neck of the tubercle of a rib. The head is the area that curves out here. This would be the head, and then it goes into the neck area, and then there's a tubercle there. So it's the head, and then the neck, and then there's a tubercle area there. They articulate with the vertebrae, which if you look on the inside here, you could see how they articulate there. So that's also the knob-like tubercle articulates with the costal facet of the transverse process of the vertebrae. So this transverse process is on the inside there, and that's where they articulate at that point. And that concludes my video for the bone, the axial skeleton. Thank you.